About, about 10 minutes. Every week. I don't watch them and compare them. Maybe they don't have quite the same taste as the regular stores, but quality and taste and freshness, they can't be beat. Expensive. I guess things that you can't get here.
Okay.
I can't. Offhand, I can't. If you can't shop here, you go there, and you do well, and they're very nice, both places.
Okay, so I should have probably prefaced in the introduction that we interviewed a couple of people to actually ask, why do you shop where you shop, and what do you think about those places? So a few key takeaways from that is that she really purposely goes to all of these. She travels to all of these. She said she lives 10 minutes away, and that she also shops in a couple of different places. And she said Schnucks is more expensive, so I shop at Aldi's because the produce is cheaper and it's also the best quality. But she also goes to different stores rather than just going to one store where she can get everything. Another major product definition of Aldi is their value discounts, and they said a lot about that kind of in those signs, a lot about how everything's great value. Interestingly, we kind of found that within the store there seemed to be kind of a dichotomy between advertising that focused on fresh produce and then the value-oriented advertising. Like this is a big blue sign that says value. And this is located right around the canned goods. So there's all these canned goods, and I've looked through them a lot, and it's really hard to find anything that's not full of a lot of sugar or just really high calorie, even though some of them are canned fruits and vegetables. They're not the healthiest version of canned fruits and vegetables. And then those big value signs are located right above this big frozen section. And there's always big, giant value frozen meats. And then this section also mostly focuses on fried foods and things like pizza are just full. These big tubs are full of them. And you'll see that here there's no big pictures of what's inside, not like in the produce section. It really focuses on deals and values. And I also thought it was interesting that it repeatedly is saying if you saw cold deals, frosty savings, all those things, which may imply that the fact that it's frozen is really important and is part of the value system, and maybe that's because people really want to buy in bulk and save up later. So we noticed that while Aldi's has this emphasis on freshness and quality and value, that they may not always combine in the same products, and they may be kind of two different lines within the same store. So that's all.
Okay, so now next we went to Pete's Sure-N-Save, which is right across the street from Walgreens, and there's a bus stop actually right across from the grocery store. And here's just like one of the trucks in the parking lot that it only says Pete's on the store, but we found the full name on the truck. Okay. So yeah, just a perspective of like where it's like located. There's a Bank of America ATM right here, so that could be influencing who actually goes to the store. And so here, when you first walk into the produce area, you see that they have like a bunch of sweet potatoes out and a bunch of packaged things, similar to like how Aldi's had a bunch of packaging. There wasn't a ton of loose produce. And then here's just like another view of that. And we also noticed they had a lot of, like their salad section was much smaller than you would see at Schnucks or a similar like large grocery store. And they focused a lot on kind of like the more like southern type greens, like collard greens, mustard greens, just kind of like the leafy thick greens that are actually really good for you. But then we also found like some of the loose produce was like not in the best quality. You can see here that there are a bunch of bruising and there are a bunch of just like nail marks where the fruit has been damaged. But another interesting thing that we saw was that they have like reduced packaging, so they'll take some fruit that's maybe a little older or like a little more damaged and they'll reduce the price and package it up. So that was different from what you'd see at Schnucks. And then right across from all the produce are these massive containers of like hot sauce and pickles, and then also Pringles. But these are like the largest bottles of hot sauce like I've ever seen. So like that was very interesting seeing that. And then we also found these like concrete thing, like concrete bucket type things full of pickles, which were pretty incredible. And then like also Miracle Whip and kidney beans and like a huge thing of mustard. And we kind of noticed that a lot of this is kind of similar to, it's like grilling materials. So like perhaps like someone would have, they're having like a large barbecue, like a large family get together or something. Maybe they would want to buy like a large thing of Miracle Whip or mustard. Yeah, and then here we looked at like the meat section, and it's a little different from like a typical like Clayton Schnucks. As you can see here, they have a lot of deals that are like pick 5 for $25 or like these bundles. And I thought that was really interesting because you walk right in and you see all these sale signs. Like you see there's orange everywhere and yellow. And it's just like value, special meat sale. Again with like the barbecuing theme. Here's an interesting just sausage, and then there's like they have like salt pork ends, and like smoked neck bones, like just things that like you typically like, don't necessarily find at like every grocery store, but they had at Pete's. And then interestingly, we found the spices, large quantities, but also MSG. I have never seen that sold before, and that was like slightly alarming because of the health implications of using MSG. But yeah, so that is also carried at Pete's. Then we found there's a $1 section where everything is $1 or less, and it's like a mini dollar store in the grocery store. And you can see like this ticketing to advertise everything and draw you in. And we tried to find one healthy item in the dollar area, and we could not find anything. It was all really high sugar, high fat, all white grains, really refined. Yeah, here's just another example of pies and whatnot. And then we move on to the alcohol section. So this will be important later, but if you can notice that there's more expensive alcohol is kept behind, like in glass. And then just note that the Kahlua is $9.99. And then again, just like behind glass. And yeah, it's all just like behind this counter, so you can't just walk in and get it. You have to have someone help you. And then here's like their little candy aisle. There's like quite a bit of candy, as you can see. And then we just wanted to point out like that we looked at like the ice cream selection, and you can get like a giant 4 quarts of ice cream for $5.29. But then if you looked at like the slow churn, like healthier ice cream, it's $6.29. So like just thinking of who would buy what, like who would pick the more expensive, healthier option. And then here, like as you're walking out, you see this large sales area of just baked goods that are pretty high in fat and sugar. And then also, just like wanted to note the security guard that was like watching us as we were exiting and entering and whatnot. The implications of having a guard there when you walk in there.
All right, cool. So that's Pete's. I'll quickly go through Schnucks because we're out of time. Oh wait. Okay. So we're gonna watch some of this interview. This was outside of Pete's.
Okay, the one just down the road here?
No, the one over on Clayton Road. Because it's more like a personal thing. I like it better because I don't like being around my color. They like tear up stuff and go through stuff, and I'm not that way. I buy everything and think a lot too. Two places I shop.
Okay, so yeah, so that was an unexpected interview that we found.
Okay, so where do you go to buy most of your food usually? This guy was right outside of Pete's waiting for the bus. He hadn't shopped at Pete's. And what determines which store you go to?
It depends on the price and the quality. As you know, Aldi's has the best price, and Schnucks has some good stuff too, but it depends on the quality. Yeah. Chicken wings. I think Schnucks has the best.
Okay.
So
He's saying he likes to buy chicken wings from Schnucks because they have the best chicken wings.
So again, a focus on quality and discount and kind of balancing those two. And also, a real quick thing to point out, even Aldi's, they replaced the street lamps in front of their store to make them fancier to draw in customers, and you can see the ones on the other side of the street that the city put in. So I'll quickly run through Schnucks, because we're out of time, but here we go, is the Schnucks and Olive, and a lot of you have probably been to the Clayton Schnucks, so you can kind of compare it in your head. So it's the same chain and everything. Much larger value section, almost a whole corner of the store is devoted to it. And you can see large numbers to indicate the price and everything, kind of like an Aldi's in the sale section. Surrounding the sale section, you have a lot of these cheaper cuts of meat, non-traditional cuts. You have turkey necks, you have neck bone, or turkey tails, and these meat bundle packs that I haven't seen at many other Schnucks locations. So you can take what you want from that, what that means for this store, what they're trying to appeal to, and they go up in price, and you get nicer cuts of meat as you go up, and more meat. And then you have Mystery Meat Bundle number 10. It was really popular when we were there. I'm not sure what was in it. You have a lot of different cereal choices, both organic and health food cereals, as well as sugary cereals. That's in contrast to other stores. A traditional candy section with the name brand chocolates as well, the name brand gourmet chocolates. And a large food section that you would see at discount stores. And the liquor section is, again, a thing that we looked at multiple stores. Huge wine selection, all different levels of wine too, from cheap wine to more expensive wine. A large chilled beer section with another not chilled section. And here, the hard liquor is not behind a counter. Customers can go and interact, you can hold it, you can look at it. It's a very different feel than when you're asking someone to grab you something from behind the counter, nothing's behind the glass. The only thing, oh, real quick, you can see Kahlua here is $18.99. That's double the price of at Pete's. And yeah, and so the only thing that's behind glass, you go to the courtesy counter. You're not just like ordering from someone behind glass. Now, and again, you bag your own bags, and you have people to help, or you don't bag your own bags, you have people to help you bag them. And we have an interview for that, but I'm not going to show it just because of time, but she focuses on how she buys her son's food that she makes lunches for at Schnucks usually, and then the discount food for herself she'll go to other locations. And again, you see the same kind of weighing between quality, price, and convenience with the stores in the area, going to multiple stores. So we're going to get back on the bus. We're going back to the Del Mar Metrolink station. Kat's got her groceries. Ready to go back to Woostal? And yeah, so just real quick, so that's basically what we did.
We wanted this to just pretty much be like, these are some options on the Olive, like that 91 bus route that you can just consider. We didn't want to make any like big general conclusions, but just ask you like just consider like the different options of shopping and what goes into choosing where to shop at and who shops where. It's not as easy as what's the closest grocery store. There's like value, quality, the types of foods they have. There are many more. And then there's also like the social implications of shopping at a certain store.
In the future, it'd be really interesting to interview more people from different backgrounds and go to some of the other stores. And if anyone has questions about like getting to these stores, taking the bus directly from campus if you don't want to walk to the station,